information, and the special educators, reflective calendar and planning journal, motivation, inspiration, and affirmation. That second one is described on the front page of your handout. I haven't had time to explore the rest of the handout yet, but I will. Mary's speech will be pretty much as was described by Pat. I won't try to give you the description again. We're honored to have this distinguished author speak to us. Please welcome Mary McGrath.
Fellow Toastmasters, the art of selling is not new. At least, it's not new to me. I'd like to take you back in time to a day that was very special in our family. This is a page from the Broadcaster Censor, Viroqua, Wisconsin, the Vernon County newspaper. It captures that moment, and this is April 17th, 1958 edition, when the Zabolio brothers, Edward and Albert, my father Edward and Uncle Albert, had the open house on April 18th and 19th after our store was remodeled and it became an IGA store. Well, for this project, I had to learn a little bit about book selling. So I went to the experts, Barnes & Noble, called them up, and I spoke on June 5th to Mark Brunsvold, one of the booksellers, manager. And Mark gave me 3 points for selling effectively. And as Mark was talking to me, what came to my mind was the effective selling that I already knew from the example of my father and my uncle. The first point is that you greet the customer. Nobody comes into the bookstore and is left alone and left to wonder. You don't trounce on them, but you say hello, you greet them. And the old verse, how can I help you? Is there anything I can do for you? Is there a book that's of particular interest to you, a topic that you're searching for? Or perhaps you sense that they want to browse. I can see my dad. I can remember Uncle Alan. My dad, nobody walked into that store on that grand opening that wasn't known by them. That was a small town. The Cheers bar has nothing on the Zabolio brothers for creating an atmosphere of social acceptance. And that's a key point in sales. The second thing that Mark told me was customer service. He said, you don't let anybody come into the store and you just wander around. You've probably done that. You've gone into these big mega stores and felt alienated, and you want something and you're just so overwhelmed by the size of the place and you can't find somebody, and it's like they're doing you a favor if they actually help you. Well, back at Zabolio's IGA in Genoa, Wisconsin, when you walked in, you were not lonely. I remember my father had this long stick with a hook on it, and he had a counter. And you'd go up to the counter and you'd say, Ed, I'd like a box of Kellogg's cornflakes. So he would pick up his stick, and he would pull it down and catch it, very tricky, and he'd set it in front of you. I, at the time, was on the floor putting the tobacco into the tubes or the cigarettes into the packets where they had it. That's how I learned. I learned by watching. And I remember the satisfaction on the faces of the people when there was that exchange and that acceptance. And another thing Mark said is, you take them to the part of the store where that book is. Not only do you take them to the part of the store, but you pick up the book and you put it in their hands, and that's a point of contact for you. And in that point of contact time, you can learn what they like and what they like about reading. The third point, give them a deal. Barnes & Noble, 20% off cards for teachers when you buy things for the classroom. 25% off for other things on special days. The Zabolio store always had a deal. And I'll let you look at this later. But not only are they giving you a free paint roller and the container for that, but bananas are 10 cents. So remember, greet, meet, helpful, and give them a deal. Today we're going to do a role play, and I'm going to turn into a bookseller. And I'm now at my Barnes & Noble store. I am no longer Mary McGrath, but I'm a bookseller. sir.
Oh, good morning.
How goes it? I'm
Very well.
Mary.
Hi,
I'm one of
Mary.
the booksellers here at Barnes & Noble.
Yeah.
If there's anything I can do for you, please let me know.
Oh, well, great.
Are you looking for anything in particular?
I'm a teacher here
A
in,
teacher?
in Woodbury, and
Really? Where? What level do you teach?
I actually teach special education children.
Special ed.
Yeah.
Really?
And so I was just in here, and you know, our days are so busy, and I hardly ever get in here. I thought today maybe I'd just come in and look for a self-help book or something.
Something that will give you some support, something that will, maybe a place for you to kind of go and get some perspective.
Yeah,
Would that help?
that's kind of where
You know, I have a friend that teaches special ed, and I know that she needs to kind of back away once in a while and sit down and just sort of reflect.
Right. Well,
Is that something you need?
That's absolutely. I mean,
Absolutely?
our days are so filled.
I know.
And so challenging.
And then at night, you know, you can't forget it. Is that the way it is?
That's pretty much
You,
it. in
you
a
need a
nutshell.
place to kind of let it go.
Yeah, and to get, well, you know, we're busy, and of course, you know, with all the cuts in the school budget these days, I mean, they've got us doing all kinds of things that we never used to do, just because we have to get it all done. So,
Yeah.
you've been to the Woodbury schools here?
Well, you know, I don't live in Woodbury.
Oh.
I live in Burnsville, but I live near the school, and I kind of keep an eye on things through friends of mine. And I really value what you folks do in the schools. I know it's an important job, and you know, as a public person, I think it's important that we support you. But come on with me. We have a display today.
Oh, really?
We have some of a local author, Mary McGrath's books here, and as long as you're a special educator, this is the book I would suggest for you. The prices are on these books. And you see, we do have a discount. Do you have one of our teacher cards?
No, I don't. Like I say, I haven't been in here in a while.
Okay, well, we could sign you up for that. We could give you a
How much are they?
20% discount. The cards, let's see, the prices will take this down a couple dollars. This would be less than $20 now, whereas it'd be like $22, $23 in the publishers.
Oh.
If you see in the catalog here, the selling price.
No, it's a little bit more than I was thinking of spending today. You know, I'm on a teacher's salary, you know.
I get it. And our teachers always feel that they never deserve, they deserve so much more. See, this originally goes for $23. We go down a couple dollars than the original price.
So why should I buy this book?
Well, why don't you check it out? Look inside there, Tail. Every day, I know you're so busy, you don't have time to probably talk to your colleagues, but we have here, the authors have here, a message or an idea for you, a place for you to write down a special thought, a memory or plan.
So it's kind of like a planner.
Yes, we have
Okay.
places for you to write down your deadlines, for your IEP meetings, things you want to do in the month that are important. There's a lot of white space in
Oh,
here
I see that.
that gives you that opening, not only for you to hear what the authors have to say, but also to hear what's going on inside of you as a teacher.
I see.
Because there's a lot of good stuff in your head and in your heart that you may miss because you're so damn busy.
Actually, this is kind of a good idea. The thing I like about it is that I just never get the time to really sit down and do a lot of planning because it seems like, it's just one fire after another.
I know, you're putting out those fires.
Yeah.
But, sometimes I think from what I get from my friends is that they feel that sometimes the system governs them too much. And maybe they need to kind of take charge a little bit. I just want to give you a side point here. This book is kind of like a parent of that book.
Oh, really?
The Los Angeles schools bought a ton of for their teachers.
They did.
And it's one of Corwin's bestsellers. But what I heard from the author is that they tried to improve upon this one, and they kind of made
So
it.
which one would you recommend?
Well, for you as a special ed teacher, I would totally go with this one.
Okay.
But how long do you plan on staying and teaching?
Oh, I'm here to stay.
Here to
so-
stay, because see, if you go with this one, which I think is a special ed, the best one, you can always alternate.
I see.
And there's good ideas in here too.
Let me take a look at this. Do you have this in the Kindle version? I just got a Kindle player recently.
We just have a plain old book here.
Plain old book. Okay.
I just talked to my brother-in-law. He's into Kindle.
Okay.
Big time into Kindle. And I said, put Mary McGrath in there. See if, because I know we were having your books here. see if her books are in here.
Okay,
And they aren't.
okay,
You got your escape books are in Kendall.
okay.
That's when you get away from school. John Grisham.
Well,
But
very good.
Mary McGrath is right in here.
Let me read a little bit more about her, and then I'll let you know here in just a few minutes.
And her partner, her writing partner, started a school for children with ED.
Oh, really?
So you'll find understanding.
Well, thank you very much.
Well, Theo, sir, can we take you up to
Sure.
the desk here, and Jane here would be happy to check you out.
Okay, very
And
much.
she can set you up with the 20% discount.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you,
sir.
thank you very
Thank you
much.
very much, sir, and best wishes on your teaching. The next section of our presentation is to hear from you on ways that I could have been more effective, or just things that you saw that were persuasive, and suggestions for being more persuasive.
First comment is when you introduce yourself to your customer, I would allow just a little more space of time to listen. The words seem to come out, and I give him some time to respond, so some silent time. The other thing is you mentioned the word I near the beginning, too, of what can I do to help. I learned from ATT out in the World's Fair out in 1962, the word I should not be there. You made a comment at the beginning about you. The customer likes to hear the word you, not I. So try to get the word you out first.
Thank you. And Mary has experience in sales. Anybody else?
Yeah, the one I was going to say, to ask more, on Mary's point, to ask more questions and bring the customer out a little more, in that to get to know what their needs are. I did like the way you ended by just assuming the one of the things of sales is always be closing, so you took them right over to the counter to buy the book.
Any more? All right. I'll turn it back to our toast.